Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2 is an absolute bloodbath. The game is insane, having you run around and absolutely demolish scores of aliens coming at you. It is brutal, gory, and oh so much fun. But it is not the most Steam Deck friendly just yet. So, for this video, we're going to go over the performance and how it runs on the Steam Deck, our recommended settings, and whether you should really be playing it on the go just yet. If you want to see more videos like this, hit that like and subscribe button, and hit that notification bell to be notified as soon as our next video is uploaded. The game is also recorded on the Steam Deck directly, so you may have a better experience than what you see in this video. Space Marine 2 is a tough game to play on the Steam Deck. From everything I tested, which includes a 4GB UMA buffer, cryo utilities, and even SteamOS 3.6 and 3.7, nothing could bring it up to a stable 30 frames per second area. I tested each of these at the lowest possible settings and FSR2 at ultra performance, and there was almost no change in performance across each one, which usually stuck around between 24, 25, and then dips to 19, 18 that could maybe go back up to 21 or 22. So you're looking at a range of about 17 frames per second to 24 or 25. This is also the same across SteamOS 3.6 and 3.7, where there was really no change to the frame rate and performance. I also tried Proton Experimental, Normal and Bleeding Edge, and Proton GE 9-12, and nothing seemed to really improve performance. Proton GE 9-12 did seem to have a 1 frame per second boost, but this was not nearly enough to get it to a 30 frames per second state, and it was more like bringing 22 frames per second to 23. The closest thing I could get to better performance was actually going into Steam and forcing the resolution to 640 by 400 and using SteamOS's FSR to upscale the game. Under these settings, it was still under the 30 frame rate, but it was a little bit more playable, hitting much higher in the 20 range, and sometimes even going up to 27, 28 when you're in open areas. Seeing as it's extremely blurry, I wouldn't recommend it though. Speaking of which, the inside areas tend to run significantly better than the outside areas, which can hit 30 frames per second when you're inside, but as soon as the big hordes come in or you go outside and you're fighting in a giant fortress, it's going to drop way down and you're not going to have a stable experience. In the end, the best way to play that I can recommend right now is low settings at FSR2 performance, since it does make a noticeable difference in how clear Space Marine 2 looks. Because the game regularly drops from 30 frames per second in almost every outside area, I actually recommend using a 24 frame rate and 72 Hz refresh rate cap, which is not something I would usually recommend, but for the state of the game right now, it's the closest you're going to get to stable. When the game hits 24 frames per second, it does actually feel okay, decently smooth, and it makes those drops feel a little bit less noticeable, though you are still going to feel it when it drops down to 12 or 13 when you're aiming your gun in an outside area. The game uses a lot of RAM, so if you encounter any RAM crashes, which I did once, you're going to need to use a swap file to artificially inflate RAM from cryo utilities too. Not super great just yet, right? Well, not to worry, Focus Entertainment seems to be on the case. In a blog post, the Focus Entertainment team did mention that they are going to be working on Steam Deck support to be Steam Deck verified by the end of the year. And for this case, I would assume that means optimizations, UI changes, and text changes, because there is some text that is very hard to read, especially when you're in a ship and you're going to your next mission and it's giving you the mission details. Almost impossible to read when you're on FSR2. Well, anything below balanced. So we will probably see a working version on the Steam Deck that is stable by the end of the year. But is it recommended to play this way right now? Not really. If you're only going to be playing on Steam Deck, then I would say wait to get this game. It is ridiculously fun and a good time, but it's not going to be very stable on the Steam Deck. If you have to play it now though, I would recommend using a low preset with FSR2 at performance and a 24 frame rate and 72 Hz refresh rate. You are still going to have drops, and it is going to be a little bit ridiculous in the outside areas, but things are going to be marginally clear, and you're going to feel more stable at the 24 frame rate cap than you would for 30 or anything above. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like and subscribe button. And to all of our Patreon supporters, thank you so much for supporting us. You guys are awesome. See you next time.